Hey guys, welcome back to the Hermitcraft Modsauce server. It is episode 6 and we're currently over here at the Mumbo Jumbo Micro Base. I think that's what we're going to be calling this mini one here because we have got the bigger one that's over there. Please let me know down in the comment section what you think I should call this one because at the minute, I don't really have any ideas. I mean, I was thinking maybe the Mumbo Jumbo Big Block Base, but that's a little bit of a tough thing to say. I'm sort of struggling to say it in a sentence, so let me know down in the comment section what you think I should call the new one. And in fact, if you haven't seen the new base, then I featured it in the previous episode, but a lot of you seem to really like it, which I am pretty glad about. But I don't think we're going to be working on that today, because I have got some awesome plans. We're going to be doing some technical bits and pieces, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be working on something awesome. It is called the 3x ore reprocessing unit. It is part of the mechanism mod. Now you can get 3x ore reprocessing, you can get 4x, and you can get 5x. Now we're going to be starting things off on the slightly simpler end by doing 3x, but what it means is that you get 3x as many items as the ore. So if I put in 3 iron ore, we would get 9 iron ingots out, and that is absolutely amazing and a brilliant way to get ourselves tons of resources. But there is a bit of a problem here, and that is the fact that it uses a lot of items for it to be made. So here we go. We need mechanical pipe, universal cable, we need 8 electrolytic separators, pressurized tubes, we need 4 elite factories, which is purifying, crushing, enriching, and smelting. We need a pump and a drum, item transfer nodes, diamond chests, and more than likely, more power. So that means that we're going to have to increase the size of the big reactor that we built in the previous episode. But you know what? I would say that is a decent amount of things to do in one episode. It is going to be a fun one, and also, we're going to end up with an amazing factory. I can't wait. Just thought I'd get myself a few speed upgrades for the metallurgic infuser. As you can see, we're currently working on getting ourselves some steel. This uses a lot of steel. We don't have enough steel to do all of this, so I thought what I'd do is get myself some speed upgrades for the metallurgic infuser because we use the metallurgic infuser all of the time. It is one of the most useful things in the mechanism mod, so there we go. We have got ourselves 7 speed upgrades, so we can put a few of those into this thing, and then also, because we already have 3 speed upgrades in there, we could chuck a few of them into the crusher, or potentially this, or potentially, no, it's just those 2. So we could use them for either the crusher or our osmium compressor. I reckon we'll use the crusher a little bit more. By the look of things, we have managed to make the metallurgic infuser just a little bit slower by actually adding in all of the speed upgrades. And that is because it is using up so much power. It is taking in so much power that it can't actually keep up. It means it's running out, and that slows down the entire system. So what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a few of those little efficiency upgrades. You can see them down here. It is an energy upgrade, and this is how you do it. Fairly simple. We have got ourselves some pulverized gold right here. We'll chuck in the enriched alloys on either side, and then we'll put in the glass, and we have got 8 of those. So that is absolutely perfect. Head over to the metallurgic infuser, and as we place these in theory, everything should start to work a little bit faster, and this should start to increase. We should see this hit the top green bar. It looks like it's going up. It is definitely going up now, and yes, we are getting power. Everything seems to be running at relatively high speed, and I don't know. If we chuck in another speed upgrade, is that going to use up all the power again? It seems to just about be able to manage a 5x speed upgrade. Not too bad, it's going pretty quick. So, I have got some good news for you, and I have got some bad news for you. The good news is, I have got a lot of the elements that we need to make some of the factories. The bad news is that I got a little bit carried away, and I forgot to start recording, can you believe it? So here we are. We have got ourselves an enrichment chamber, and also we have got ourselves an energized smelter. Now, these are 2 things that we are definitely going to need in the setup, but there are other things that we need. We need to get ourselves a purification chamber, which is this crafting recipe right here. Oh, and actually that uses another enrichment chamber. So let's quickly make ourselves one of those. I didn't actually notice that. So we're going to need an enrichment chamber, which is made just by doing that. And then we're going to need to make ourselves a few of the advanced circuits, which you can see at the top there. So we'll grab those. We need 1, 2. And then we just need to do the standard crafting recipe, and by the look of things, that is always just a little bit concerning that that didn't actually happen. But to make this, we need to go enrichment chamber, we need the advanced thingamajigs up there, and then we need all of these enriched alloys around the edges. And as you can see, we have now got the purification chamber. That is going to be going right at the start of the sequence, if I remember correctly. That will be awkward if I've actually forgotten the crafting recipe or how all of this works. So now to make the crusher, we need to get ourselves a bucket, and by the look of things, I can't actually see any buckets around me because this uses two bits of lava. Okay, so we need 2 lava buckets here. We'll grab one there, and then we've got another bucket in here as well. We'll grab both of those from the lava drum that we have over here. In fact, how full is that? That has got 255,700, so it's doing a pretty decent job at keeping the smeltery stocked up. But as you can see, we'll just grab those 2 lava buckets there. We'll put those on either side of the steel casing. And then what else do we need for the crusher? We need all of that stuff, so we'll just get that in, just like that. The lava, the steel casing, and then we need the redstone around the edges like this. And on top of that, we need to get ourselves a few of the basic circuits. So we'll chuck those in just like this. And there we go. We have got all of the general elements that we need for this system. Now we need to turn them into factories, which is always a little bit tough. Now to turn all of these into basic factories really should be quite simple. Chuck that in the middle. We have got ourselves a basic factory there. We have got ourselves another basic factory, and another basic factory, and then the final basic factory. Now, I'm going to take a look. How easy is it to make an advanced factory? It looks relatively simple. We have got enriched alloys, we have got advanced control circuits. You know what? I think I'm going to go for the upgrade. We're going to get all of this stuff here because advanced factories are a whole bunch better than the basic factories because they allow for more items to be put into the system. You'll understand what I mean when you take a look at it in a couple of seconds when we start building this thing. It is now time to start work on some of the other bits and pieces. We are done with the factories. We have got those finished. We have got ourselves 4 advanced factories, which are looking pretty damn good. But also, as you can see, we have got ourselves advanced mechanical pipe that is going to pump up all of the water and put it into the electrolytic separators. And then also, we really have splashed the cash because we have decided to go for Elite Universal Cable. It can take up to 8 kilojoules per tick, and it's pretty amazing, but it was fairly expensive. It uses 1 diamond per 8 cable, which might not seem too much, but as you can see, we have got a lot of the stuff. So now what I want to do is get myself some pressurized tube, and I saw that earlier. There it is. So that uses steel, and it uses a little bit of glass as well. I've used an old school furnace that I don't seem to be able to access right now. The server's getting a little bit precious. I think some of the hermits are doing some ambitious tasks at the minute, but we will only need a few of these. I would say at maximum, absolute maximum, we're going to need 32. So that is most of the stuff off the checklist. Let's take a read. So we need mechanical pipe, which we already have. We need universal cable, which I have got. We need electrolytic separators, still need to do those. We have got the pressurized tubes, we've got the 4 elite factories. We just need to get the pump and drums. We have got item transport nodes, we have got diamond chests, and I don't think we're going to need more power. So we are almost done. The Great British Craftathon is almost over. Soon we're going to be building, and I'm excited. And just like that, we have got everything that we need to complete this project. As you can see from my inventory, it is full to the brim with lots of exciting bits and pieces. And the good news is that it only took around about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, which sounds like a lot, but for these sorts of things, you expect them to take absolutely ages. But as you can see, the metallurgic infusers for some reason don't stack, but one good thing that I have to say about them is, if we take a look at the crafting recipe here, you can see they are incredibly cheap. It just uses 2 furnaces, 1 piece of osmium, we need 2 pieces of redstone dust, and 4 iron ingots. But that is incredibly cheap, especially considering what they do. They actually separate the liquids that go into them into their elements. So we have got hydrogen and oxygen, which is what we're going to be using because we need to pump oxygen down into our purification chamber, and that is what is going to start off the system. So now it is time to head off to the new Mumbo Jumbo big block base, and we're going to start building this system. Oh, I thought I'd never say those words. Now I do have a little bit of bad news here. The build that we have is 1 block centered, and the build that we're about to do uses 4 factories. Now if you can work that out, that means that it is going to be slightly off-centered, but I think I've come up with a pretty decent solution. So that there is the purifying, and then we have got the crushing, then we have got the enriching, and then we have got the smelting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the inputs are actually centered. So we'll have 1 input here, and we will have 1 input on this side. So what we have to do now is we have to head underneath, get ourselves the item nodes, and start throwing in some of the items. So if we take a look here, we have got a transfer node. I'm still trying to work out how all of these things work. So we need a transfer pipe, and then we're going to need a transfer node right here coming out of this one, because it is going to be going across like this and into that chest there. And we're going to chuck in a few speed upgrades here, just so it can process the items a little bit faster. Oh, I'm getting completely wrecked by mobs at the minute because it's in the middle of the night, and I hadn't even realized because I've got myself a night vision potion. But we are completely exposed to all of the elements here, which means that the chances are a creeper is going to come along and completely ruin our fun. But anyway, if we head underneath here, all we have to do now is we have to grab ourselves another item transfer node. Oh my god, that scared the life out of me. Where's he going now? Okay, I'm going to fly upwards because I'm on my way out. I think I've lost all of my armor. I've lost my trousers, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you know the day is going badly. But what we need to do is we need to place down an item transfer node on the bottom of that chest there. Jeez, guys, they just want to check out the sweet build that I'm currently constructing. Guys, I've been an idiot, and I know that you will have told me in the comment section already that I've been an idiot. I might have slightly made 8 metallurgic infusers instead of 8 electrolytic separators. I don't know how that happened. They're both fairly strange and long words that I've never really heard before. Guess I just got a little bit confused and decided to waste a ton of resources. Well, metallurgic infusers are pretty sweet, okay? We're going to need a few of them in the future. Just didn't plan on making them just right now. Now that I've sorted out that problem, we have got ourselves 5 electrolytic separators, which is the perfect number of electrolytic separators, because as you can see, the build is 5 blocks wide, and I'm going to be approaching this like a redstone project. But one thing that I have just noticed is that it has turned to night once again. Straight away, the zombies are on their way over, but I just took a look at the minimap, and oh boy, is there a lot of creepers about. I don't want to be aggravating any of those guys. I mean, seriously, if one of those comes along, blows up my entire build, I'm not going to be particularly happy. But we'll get rid of these guys for the minute, and then I'll get to work on placing down the electrolytic separators. So what I think I'm going to do is I will place them down on top of the cable, and if we take a look, whoa, little guy running in. I can tell I'm not going to be able to do this without being disturbed or destroying my entire base. The atomic disassembler is just too powerful. But this side will be hydrogen, and then this other side will be oxygen, so that looks pretty good to me. So we'll chuck in all of the electrolytic separators here. That one has gone the opposite way round, which is a little bit annoying. So that needs to be there, and then we need one right there. We need one right there, but oh, we've got ourselves a spider. I am so going to die while building this. In fact, if I don't die, I will eat my hat. I would be so surprised. But if you take a look, we need to get a couple more electrolytic separators in. We have got that one there. And then the final one just goes right in this slot here. Now that is looking pretty good, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I know there isn't much going on right now, but it's going to look pretty cool once we get ourselves some of this pressurized tube coming out the sides of all of these. So we'll place that going all the way along like that. And that will go down into the pump. Or, no, that won't go down into the pump. That will go down into this system right here, because that is the purification chamber. So if you just take out a few of these blocks and we place those in just like that, you can see that has gone straight in. That is good news. And then if we grab ourselves some advanced mechanical pipe, place it on top of all these, that is all connecting up. Oh boy, it's actually working. I can't believe it. And then if we head down to the bottom here, we have got to get ourselves the pump. We will place that down right there. That is where all of the items or the water is going to be flowing up into our electrolytic separators. We'll break down this, and I'll take a look at my mini-map, checking out for any mobs, especially creepers, like I say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plonk down the drum on top of this one, so then we have a buffer of water. and then we need to get ourselves the configurator, and we can set that to suck mode, so that will withdraw all of the fluid from inside the drum up into these pipes and into all of the electrolytic separators. So that is the system at the minute. I've got to do a few more bits and pieces. For example, I've got to connect this one up together using the Elite Universal cable that goes straight into the side of that pump there, and then we need to get ourselves a water source. But in theory, I think we've built the entire system, and it is looking amazing. Look at that. That is like a true modded awesome system. And we're making this zombie dance, and there's a creeper over there. It's all going well. It's all going well. I can't actually believe it. The system appears to be working. Now, it's running a little bit slow right now. I have to admit, it's not running particularly quickly. We don't have any ores inside there, but the actual system itself is working. Oh my, look, we have got ourselves a water pump here, which is pumping up the water. It is then going up into the drum, which is then having all of the water sucked out of it by this advanced mechanical pipe, which is putting all of the water into these electrolytic separators, which is separating them into oxygen and also hydrogen. And oxygen is the thing that we want. Now, all of the oxygen is going into this pressurized tube, which is then filing all the way down into this factory down at the bottom here, which is the purification chamber. And as you can see, that is now full to the brim with oxygen. So, in theory, if we just give this a bash right now, we chuck in a bunch of items in here, you will see they fall down into the purification chamber. Now, I just realized that we don't have any of the system set up. So, this needs to be red, and then this side needs to be blue. We need to make sure that it auto-ejects, and we also need to make sure that it is auto-sorting. I might have to work on this one off camera. I am so awful at sorting out all of the factories and things. I mean, look at this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I can't work this out. Right, so I have sorted out all of the factories. They are now working. We are getting items out of this thing. And the best thing is that our current big reactor is running extremely slowly. I do believe that it is running very, very low on fuel indeed. In fact, does it even have any fuel inside it? Let's take a look here. No, it has got absolutely nothing in terms of fuel. How on earth is it powering all of that stuff? That's a little bit concerning, considering we are actually getting power right now. But by the look of things, actually, all of the factories have conked out. Okay, so we have got no power here. So what we need to do is we need to get ourselves some efficiency upgrades. We need to get ourselves some speed upgrades. And also, we need to get ourselves some Yellorium to fill up the big reactor. And then everything will be working. Look, we have got ourselves 6 gold. 6 gold has come out of the system that we made. And it looks amazing. I'm so over the moon right now. Can you tell? This is brilliant. I love modded Minecraft. It's just amazing. So I've put a little bit more Yellorium into the big reactor, so now everything is a little bit more powered. As you can see, as per usual, I have decided to start recording at night, so we're getting absolutely obliterated by mobs once again. It is good that we've got this atomic disassembler, but anyway, I'm going to try and do my best to run you through what happens here. So, we'll chuck in some golden ore here, that will go right the way down into the very first factory. That is the purification chamber, and is there something behind there? Whoa. I thought that was a creeper then, that got me a little bit scared. But if we take a look in here, we can now see that we've got 3 gold clumps. Now they are in the crusher, so they are now being crushed. They're going to go right the way on through into this next one here. And we have got ourselves 3 dirty golden dust, which is in the enrichment chamber. That is then going to be enriched, and it will go on through into this area, which is the smelter. And we have now got ourselves just standard gold dust. It is being smelted away, and then it will go right the way on through. Oh god, we've got ourselves another zombie, and that is going to go right the way on through and end up in this chest up at the end. So that means that we get 3 ores, 3 items for every single ore. Oh, I can't get my words out today. I'm just so excited about the fact that we managed to do this. I know for a lot of you that is a very, very simple mechanism indeed, but for me that took a lot of effort, a lot of research, and a lot of working out what on earth I was trying to do. But there we go. I think in the next episode I'm going to work on improving this, so I'm going to get myself some efficiency upgrades, some speed upgrades, and also maybe even some elite factories, because that would definitely be good, help out with the workload. But I think that means we will need more power, so that means we might need a slightly bigger big reactor. So loads of things that we need to do on the Hermitcraft Modsauce server, but you've got all of that to look forward to. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.